Welcome to episode 38 of Young Female Entrepreneurs. It's a weekly live stream that we have here every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern in the Oval ITV studio. And tonight's guest is amazing. So he works for a company called Obsidian. They create games, and I know this is a totally different guest than we've usually had. We very rarely have dudes on the show in the first place, let alone gamers. So this show is going to be awesome, something that's definitely out of your comfort zones, but $1 million was their goal in reaching for their Kickstarter campaign. This game that they're doing, Adam's our guest, is the executive producer on it, Project Eternity. It ended up reaching $4 million by the end of the campaign. It's insane, creating a lot of loyal followers, so make sure that you stay tuned to the entire show to find out more from Adam. Alright, so like I was saying, you're watching the Young Female Entrepreneurs live stream. Every Thursday night here at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, we broadcast live with an awesome guest. And tonight's guest is Adam Brennecke. I have a couple images lined up. I don't know if you see those. He is the executive producer on the Project Eternity game that's coming out in 2014. They did a Kickstarter campaign for it to finance the project back in October. Their goal was $1 million. They ended up reaching $4 million with over 73,000 backers. I guess almost like 74,000 really when you think about it. He's been featured in a number of publications. This is, I believe, one of the top video game. I'll have to ask Adam more about it, but that has reached that amount of money on Kickstarter. So it's very cool. And I know during our conference, which we're going to be talking a little bit about before we welcome Adam on the show, we had a number of women that were interested in running Kickstarter campaigns that have done them, that have done successful campaigns, some that have kind of dwindled off. And so we're going to ask him all about that. We're going to ask him about the gaming industry, about working with females, about his busy lifestyle in developing and working with a team. So it'll be really cool. But before we get into that, I wanted to quickly go over our Young Female Entrepreneurs Conference. It's the first online conference that we did today. It was available to attendees from across the world. We had people in Germany, in Prague that were attending. Crazy women that it was very late their time, but they were still joining us on the chat and chatting with us about their businesses. So the big speakers that I wanted to point out were the three that actually provided presentations. One was Stacy of mysocialcloud.com. She did an awesome job. Her company is backed by Sir Richard Branson, and you go to mysocialcloud.com, sign up, and you're able to save your password securely. You can reach it from any desktop computer, your mobile device, etc., and be able to access bookmarks, save things, all sorts of fun stuff. And she gave us a nice presentation on, that's actually Tori. She gave us a great presentation on feedback. So very thankful for her. Another one was Rachel Rogers, who went on at 1 o'clock or so, and she was talking about our project-based lifestyle and how to put some structure behind that. And finally, Natalie Lucier. I believe she's originally from Canada. She's now in New York City, and she talked to us about creative marketing. She's an engineer by trade, and then she got into the raw food lifestyle and ended up moving that into teaching other people how to build websites. It's a pretty cool story. Actually, it's a very cool story. I don't want to say it's pretty cool. But I really appreciated the insights from those three women in particular. And then, oh my goodness, we had the craziest panelists. They were amazing. So the first one up was with the city coordinators, Stacy, Marissa, and Erica. Thank you so much. Erica was on the cover of Entrepreneur Magazine. Marissa just got done with her Wi-Fi NYC meetup, and then Stacy just completed a rebrand, so that was fantastic. Jess Estrada, who's a very large fashion blogger here in the Seattle area, had Maria and Kimberly of Sweet Sports and Sue and Christina of Crispy Bikinis. That panel was intense. Those women are doing amazing things, manufacturing. Actually, Adam should know about this. Crispy Bikinis is out of Southern California. He should meet up with them. And then Jules Taggart and Christina, they did a Publishing Your Book panel with Amy Cloud, Rachel Birch, who did a Married White Female Seeking a BFF. That's the title of her book. Brilliant. Really fun listening to that. Lisa Nicole Bell, who's been on the live stream, was fantastic. And then the last panel was Carson and Kathleen of Itty Bitty Party Committee with Nakia and Tori of Utoria and Donna Keza and Nyla Blades, who are now in the Young Female Entrepreneurs Los Angeles meetup. That's happening in an hour with Erin of Well in LA. We have an image of Erin, of course. She's fantastic. This event always sells out in Los Angeles. Gorgeous women, very smart women with amazing businesses, a variety of them. She's partnered with I Am That Girl, which is a huge YouTube channel, and it has very similar mission as Young Female Entrepreneurs. So that's going to be really fun to hear more about that event. But overall, huge thank you to all that attended the Young Female Entrepreneurs Conference. Very big thank you to the speakers and to the panelists. And before we bring Adam on, I wanted to talk or to show you a couple of our tout outs, because Tout is located in San Francisco. They're video-based social media type sharing, share 15 seconds of a status update. And so we've asked our community to share short 15-second elevator pitches, questions, or just like, hey, how's it going? So these are the things that the contributions that we've received over the last couple days from Young Female Entrepreneurs.
Who's stoked about YFECon? This girl. See you guys all there tomorrow. I'm Jules Taggart with Kickstarter Kitchen, and we're going to be leading the section on publishing your book.
Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Vicario. I am the founder of Marissa's Wellbeing and Health. I am also the city coordinator for YFE NYC and a healthy living expert and blogger.
Hi Tout, it's Stacey Harris from Hit the Mic Marketing. I'm really excited to be joining Tout. Most excited to be using it in conjunction with YFE TV. I wanted to say hi to Jen and a big thanks for YFECon tomorrow. Bye bye everybody.
Hi, my name's Rowan. I'm from howtosingforyourlife.com. I want to just say hi to anyone who wants to get some singing tips. I'm running lots of videos that are free, so come over to my site if you want to find out more.
I'm Tessa Rowe. I'm an event planner and the YFE Seattle coordinator. It's nice to meet you all.
So before I bring Adam on, the last thing I want to remind you of is that we're reading the I don't know if you guys can see this. It's the Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michelovich. I probably should have asked how I pronounce his last name first. He's the guy that did that toilet paper book too beforehand, and now he has a book called The Pumpkin Plan, and it's getting rave reviews within our book club. There's about 150 women that are reading this within Bootstrap Book Club by Christina and Jules of KickstartKitchen.com, and the women are loving it. So check that book out. If you want actually a free download of it, if you go to audibletrial.com/Ovaleye and you sign up for a trial, you can actually get that book for free. So make sure that you check out the Bootstrap Book Club. It's at kickstartkitchen.com/book-club, I believe. So anyway, let's go ahead and welcome Adam on. Thank you, Adam, so much for being on the show, for sitting in our green room while we did the updates and everything. I really appreciate it.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
So, Adam, you're, like I was telling everyone, you're not exactly our stereotypical guest. October was a dudes month where we had a lot of guys on the show. And so you don't necessarily own your own business, and you're a dude, and so why do we have you on the show? No, I'm just kidding. So tell us a little bit about what it is exactly that you do, because you work for Obsidian and you're the executive producer on Project Eternity. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Obsidian is a independent game developer. We've been around for 9 years, and we primarily make role-playing games. This past October, we launched our Kickstarter, which is a method of crowdfunding, and it's kind of a new, unusual thing, and it's kind of one of those crazy internet things that has kind of ballooned over the past year. And so And Kickstarter wasn't really a thing for video games up until, I would say, January of 2012, when a company called Double Fine put their Kickstarter up, and it kind of went crazy. And so we looked at that, and we kind of wanted to jump in with them and try it ourselves. And so we put our own Kickstarter out there, and we raised $4 million, and that's crowdfunded money. So it's crowdfunding. Just to kind of take a step back, crowdfunding is kind of just for people that don't know, it's kind of a pledge. So you're donating money to a cause or an idea or a project, and Kickstarter is like a portal where you can put your projects up there and see what people think about them. So we put our video game up there, and it was just an idea at the time, and it's kind of accepting donations, people around the world, fans, people that you could donate $1, you could donate $1,000, and you would get a reward depending on your donation level. And so as you said, we had 74,000 backers, so 74,000 people donated money towards Project Eternity. And since then, we've been working on the game. I think we closed the Kickstarter on October 16th. So we've been working on it for about a month now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit, because like you were saying, this is basically them pledging. Now, a lot of people that have ran a Kickstarter campaign can understand. We had a Made Woman magazine out of, they were UCLA alumni women, and they did a similar type of a thing where it was started at $5, which is kind of the standard for a Kickstarter, and then you guys took it on to $20 or more, and you had specific type of like incentives as to why you should pledge that. And then your largest one, I believe, was it $10,000?
Yeah, we had a $10,000 pledge level.
That's crazy. And okay, so you see that usually in Kickstart campaigns. We've had Joey Bra on. Joey Bra is like a little iPhone that goes in your bra, and they got huge exposure on a lot of tech outlets, and they had like $10,000 pledges, $5,000 pledges, and they got maybe one of them. You guys did not just get one of them. You got 3 backers under 5,000, 5 backers under 10,000 or more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we had quite a few people that gave us quite a bit of money. Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
Well, and this is not, okay, so here's the difference between going out and saying, I'm going to pledge you money or whatever it is, I'm going to donate. These people didn't just give you money. They're actually involved with the game. They're testing things out for you. They get to help name stuff for you. It wasn't, there's some work involved on their part in order to, when they give this money. So I guess before I move into anything else with the Kickstarter, what's that like? Basically, you're like literally working for these people now. And
that's the great thing about Kickstarter is for video games is typically this whole model of crowdfunding is completely different in terms of how games are usually funded, and it's awesome that we can have a direct connection with our fans, because at the end of the day, those are the people buying the game, those are the people enjoying it, and that's kind of who we make the games for anyways, is our fans. So it's great that Kickstarter allows us to have a direct relationship with our fans, and collaborate and discuss ideas with them, and we can be totally upfront. There's no usually with a big project like a video game, there's a lot of secrecy involved. And there's a big marketing campaign before you launch the game. With a Kickstarter, you have to be all upfront with it, and you have to be upfront with your ideas and the story of the game. And it's been a great experience so far. And it's kind of for us, it's been a whole lot of fun, and motivation on the team has been really high, because we get to see how our fans react to what we're doing on a daily basis too. So
you do actual weekly updates where you're on video with people. You went out. I have a screenshot of the blog post that he did. So Adam created like pie charts
Yeah,
that detailed the project. And you should have, you guys have to check out their Kickstarter campaign, because people comment saying, oh my goodness, this is awesome. I feel like I'm part of you creating this. I had no idea so much went into it.
We set the bar really high for Kickstarter campaigns. That's a lot of planning. You know, it wasn't. We definitely did our research beforehand, and we spent 2 months of development time before we launched our Kickstarter. So it wasn't, you know, and I think that's important for anyone that's looking to do a Kickstarter, is make sure that you understand the platform. You know, participate in Kickstarter. You know, just donate $5, $10 to other projects so you can kind of see how updates work, and because it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of stress and a lot of work during the time period when the Kickstarter is running. For example, I think we had about 5 people full time, because our Kickstarter went for about 32, 33 days. We had 5 people full time, 7 days a week, for 18-hour days working on the Kickstarter. So it's a lot of work to run a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, no, I've heard that from a number of young women who say they are standing in line at a grocery store and they literally turn around to a woman that's wearing yoga pants and say, hey, I have a Kickstarter campaign selling yoga pants. Will you buy into it? So no, I definitely see that there's a lot of work into it, but 74,000 people, how do you get 74,000 people to donate to something or to pay attention to this, especially as a video game?
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me that, like why did we have so much success? It was kind of a perfect storm of stuff. First of all, Obsidian is kind of an established company. We kind of have a name in the game industry. We've developed 5 or 6 games previous to Project Eternity, so we already had an established fan base, so that helps a lot. The second big thing is, and Kickstarter is a great way to kind of test the water on your idea. If you have a great idea, it's a good way of like saying, is this idea actually good? Will people, are people willing to open their wallets and give money out for this idea? And I think we hit kind of a niche where in the gaming market where there wasn't a game kind of like Project Eternity for at least 10 years or so. So that was one thing that we tried to kind of bring to the table with our Kickstarter pitch, was filling kind of a hole for people that they were missing at the time.
Well, let's talk about that quickly, because you were saying, and I think it was in the actual Kickstarter video, something about the maturity rating and that you're able to do things a little differently. Because is it because you don't have to go to someone for financing, or what are you going around with that?
So traditionally, games are funded through a publisher, and like publishers, Electronic Arts, Activision, THQ, like the big companies usually fund these games, and the way that they're funded is you get money through milestone payments throughout the course of the project. So you deliver, deliverables, and you have milestones that you set up with the publisher, and the publisher typically in most contracts will own the IP, which for a small independent studio like Obsidian, I mean, we've been around for 9 years. It's very hard to sign a project with a big publisher to own your own IP. With Kickstarter, it's great because we can pitch something, and we actually now we own Project Eternity. We own the world. We own the characters, and that's huge for growing your company over a long period of time. So that was kind of a big thing for us with jumping on the trying to do a project with Kickstarter.
Is this a trend that you're going to keep going forward with whenever you create a new game? Is this something?
I hope we can be successful with Project Eternity where we don't have to do another Kickstarter, but it's, I'm not sure if we can do another Kickstarter. If people, I think we just have to be successful with our current one and deliver a good game at the end when we release it.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be something that the people are going to love, because just looking through the comments, it is matching exactly like what you were saying, is that it's filling that need within the market that wasn't being able to be met with the current way that it's structured. So let's talk a little bit about Adam, because obviously you just got done with this Kickstarter campaign, and the gaming industry is a really interesting one. So full disclosure for everyone that's watching, I'm related to Adam. So Adam is my second cousin.
Sure.
Second cousin, and
sounds great.
Yeah, he went to Digipen up here in the Seattle area, which is a very sought after school to attend if you're going to go into the gaming industry. And it was a lot of long nights, a lot of studying, and then I remember after you got out of college, you would sleep in the office and you'd work long nights then too. Do you find that because of the work environment that the gaming industry kind of, that it goes side by side with, that's why you don't see as many young women entering into that field, or do you think that's totally irrelevant?
I think that's part of it. It's definitely kind of, it used to be more like this. It's kind of gone away from being more like a frat house kind of type of environment in most offices in the game industry. I think we've kind of matured in a lot of ways over the last 5 years or so, and we're starting to see a lot more females in the workplace. Previously, I think we were below 10%, so it was 90% male, 10% female, which is amazing. Like that's crazy, and so I think we've done a lot better over the last 5 years. I think more females are interested in games now, because if the studies and statistics and stuff say that I think the majority of gamers are females. Now, it might not be hardcore like Xbox, PlayStation gamers, but if you look at Facebook and if you look at iPhone games and tablet games, the majority of gamers are females, and it's kind of disheartening to see that females don't want to participate in making games. But I think that's kind of changed over the last 5 years, which is great.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how many women in our community are involved with gaming. But so as far as the Kickstarter campaign goes, do you know what demographic, what percentage were male versus female that funded your game?
I would say it's probably largely male.
Is that who you're creating the game for? Is for more of a male player?
I don't think so. I don't think we target necessarily a male or female gamer. I think it just primarily, since we are a role-playing game, and that's kind of associated with Dungeons and Dragons. I think just typically Dungeons and Dragons players are typically male, but I think a lot of female gamers really, really love our stories and our characters, and we do a lot of stuff. I don't think it's like we I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we don't really. I don't think our games are like catered towards males. I don't think we consciously do that.
Yeah. Well, it's just looking at some of the design storyboards that you have out there doesn't necessarily look that way either, and it definitely does look very much like a storytelling type of a thing that women would be interested in. But as far as, so let's go back to Kickstarter before we wrap up.
Okay.
Because again, $4 million, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So what type of advice would you give to women as far as to these young women that are interested in doing Kickstarter campaigns as to get the larger numbers? So doing the $10,000s, the $5,000 buy-ins to it, as far as packaging what it is that they're getting in return for their pledge.
Yeah. I would. So there's a couple key things I think that I think when you're developing your Kickstarter campaign that you should kind of focus on. One is community involvement, and I saw when we were doing our Kickstarter, there was a lady doing a marshmallow cooking campaign, kerfluffles, that's what she called them, and She was always on her page, updating it, answering questions, and she got involved with our campaign a little bit, and so we had people jump over to her thing, and she raised 100 grand, and she was only asking for 2 grand. So that was one thing that I saw that was really interesting. But you have to be careful with that too. Sometimes your Kickstarter can explode, and you have to be prepared to handle that load. So that's one thing to be cautious of. It's great to have a lot of success, but then say if you were only planning on cooking for 100 people, 200 people, now you have a few thousand people. That might be more than you can chew. So just be cautious of that. The other thing that I think helps with a Kickstarter campaign is just having a good video always helps. And then just if you have a community that you frequently visit, make sure you try to involve them in some way, because if you can get some people talking about it on like say your Reddit subgroup or something like that, that really helps too.
Very cool. Yeah, you guys did a crazy amount of different things as far as bringing community together with your Kickstarter. You did the Ustream stuff. You did the weekly updates with the YouTube videos, all sorts of crazy stuff. And you weren't just doing like a phone in front of your face. It was well produced, and it was a lot of great information. You connected well with people. So on that front, is there something that you feel like you did, one item that you're like, this is what really set us apart, or what kept people engaged throughout the entire campaign?
I think at the end of the day, it's just a lot of hard work, and from a lot of people that really believe in the project. And that's kind of, with anything, if you want to be successful, it's just working really hard, working your butt off, and just keep at it. I think even just getting to where I am today, because I've been working at Obsidian for 8 years now, is just working as hard as I can, and trying to do the best job possible. I think that's that. I think if you just keep trying, even if you try it the first time and you're not successful, look at what you did wrong and seeing if you can change a few things here and there, and keep trying if you think your idea is really good. So.
Okay, my last question is, so being that I am related to you. I found your project over Facebook. My parents saw it. Everyone was really excited around the whole idea that Adam's project was getting a lot of money and it was doing really well. What did your parents think about it? What do your friends, your people that you're dating, that kind of a thing? What did people think about the whole Kickstarter campaign and what it is that you're doing with your life?
I don't know. I think
it's a broad question.
Most people congratulate me.
Do they understand how big of a deal it was and all the work that went into it?
I hope so.
Yeah. Do people understand what Kickstarter is in the first place when you mentioned it, or did you have to go into like a 30-minute explanation of it?
Yeah, a lot of people still don't know what Kickstarter is, and I think I think like the numbers still show, like because we got like 74,000 people. Many more people play video games and will probably like Project Eternity. But it might be just that might be the size of the audience that people are willing to take the chance with Kickstarter. But I think most of my friends and colleagues and family members congratulated me. But my job isn't over. I have a lot of responsibility to make sure the game comes out and is good, and all our backers are happy at the end of the day. So that's the most important thing right now.
That's a good point. Once your Kickstarter campaign ends, it doesn't mean that the work is done. It actually means that it really just begins. Just
starts.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Adam, where can everyone find you after the podcast so that they can ask you Kickstarter questions and be gamersons with you?
I have a Twitter account. It's at Adam_Brennecke. That's probably the best way to get in contact with me.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you, Adam, for sharing all of your advice as far as Kickstarter goes and for talking to us a little bit about the gaming industry. It's very interesting. You're definitely a unique guest on the show, so I appreciate it. And yeah, we wish you the best of luck with the game, and we'll all, I'm sure, be watching for it when it hits the stores.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
All right, thanks, Adam. So you've been watching the weekly Young Female Entrepreneurs live stream that happens every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. Next Thursday, we're off because it is Thanksgiving. So for all of you that are in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're celebrating with friends and family. Until then, connect with us over on Twitter at YF Entrepreneur or on the website at youngfemaleentrepreneurs.com. Thanks so much for watching.